problem.
Okay. Anybody have any other comments, questions about that? Okay, I appreciate your time with that. All right, the final one, which this is why I'm on the agenda, so I can talk and you talk back to me.
You're good.
So I hope I'm not wasting your time with this.
No, you're not wasting our time.
Okay. All right, the third area of concern is regard to the 2024 pay periods for employees of Lincoln County Schools. Currently, with the 20 pay period, employees have for years known that insurance for the summer is taken out, I think, in the last couple of checks in the school year. And, made adjustments with this knowledge in regard to paying those insurance premiums. They know during that time period that more money is going to be taken out of those particular checks to cover the summer. And so I think the employees have made adjustments to that. I can't speak to that myself because my wife does that. She was here before I was, so I know that happens. So at that, a lot of the employees, like we do, we have money taken out of our checks and put in the credit union for the summer. And we determine how much we can deposit in that account and still meet our financial obligations during the course of the school year, whatever they might be. Those several employees who have based their house and car payments on the 20 pay periods, based on what they're going to get on that paycheck. They determine how much they can afford as far as that house payment, as far as that car payment. And they're locked in with that for several years, especially with the house. So they've set their budgets based on that, on their financial obligations, those two areas, because those are two areas that take a lot of your finances. Of course, your utilities, up and down. We have a bad winter, goes up. Have a hot summer, it'll go up if you have air conditioning on that. So that's a variable that we all have to make adjustments with. So with that, I believe that if you decide to go with the 24 pay period, that many will be faced with financial hardship this year, and very well could cause them to fall on their mortgages, even to the point that they may have to file bankruptcy. That's extreme. I realize that, but I think that is not out of the question. I don't know what their finances are, but I know house payments can be very expensive. Car payments can be very expensive as well, as I include paying the insurance on that, on both of them. I do not believe that this change is right because employees will not have a say on how much is deducted from their current pay. It will be determined on our financial department, and that's going to be based on, I think, if I understand, to be corrected on this, the equal number throughout the year that will come up with those pays, how there will be set up for those 4 additional times. And I think that would be probably the same number. I haven't really heard that. I think it would have a negative effect, but I think you will see a lot of teachers looking for employment in other places. And we can't afford to lose our young teachers. They are the future of this county. I'm an old teacher. This is my 26th year on that. My finances, my house is paid for. I have other bills and obligations. But these young teachers, what they come in with, they have to have that car, they have to have that home, and all these other things that go with trying to make a living. So with that, I am in opposition of this 24 pay probability if it would happen. I don't think it's right. I think it's harmful. I'm not just talking about teachers. I'm talking also about the service personnel, the bus drivers, the custodians, the cooks, anyone that's employed by Lincoln County Schools, that their change would be made as far as what they get in each paycheck. And I just think it would be devastating. My conversation with the teachers at my school, just question how many of you here would have a problem. I had 30 teachers at the high school.
First, what we're going to do on our agenda tonight, and when we get to that part of our agenda, Mrs. Lucas, I think is going to share with us the latest results of the vote. So, we're
Right.
But once again, this proposal was not initiated by the board. This was brought to us by, with good intentions by some individuals trying to eliminate that double premium. And, you know, that was the reason last spring it was brought to us. What we did was, you know, we want to be open-minded and consider things. So we said, okay, we'll look into that. So that's what we've been doing. For the last month and a half, we've had it on public review and comment, like all of our, you know, we put it in order for us to get input, because oftentimes people don't come to the board meeting and speak like some of you have, but we get it. You know, people can send comments, they send them to Mrs. Powell. She then, if you write in a comment on any policy, she sends it to every one of us. So we've gotten all kinds of comments from people that you're all not aware of, you know, because it's been on comment. But anyway, you know, this was proposed. The reason we put things on public review is to get input from people. If we weren't going to take that into consideration, then we need to do that. So I think we will address that this evening. We'll see. Because we aren't even aware of what the outcome of the vote was. But we do know the comments that we've received. We do know that some of us even receive messages and things on our phones, or phone calls and this, that, and the other. So we understand that, but we're going to address that this evening, and we'll certainly consider what you said and other people have said when we decide.
Yeah, well, that's the reason I brought it up, because I'll be honest with you, even within my department is very young as far as the teachers, and I'll try to do everything I can to support them, whatever it might be. So I know that they have a well-being on that part of it, and if you have this hanging over you and you're thinking this might happen, it has an impact on you mentally, and mentally that has an impact on you physically as well. And I know it's been comments and you've been looking at and everything, and the reason I'm standing here tonight, this evening here, to talk about this is because I believe I need to, because I don't believe it's the right thing to do, and I know it's something that was brought to your consideration that y'all didn't initiate this, and I understand that on that, Mr. Priest, as far as that goes. But I just want to make sure that my opinion, my belief on why it shouldn't happen, that you would be knowing. You know, I don't very often come to board meetings unless I have something I believe in strongly, and that's why I'm here tonight on that. And I appreciate the job, and I appreciate all the things that y'all do, and I understand the decisions that y'all have to make sometimes are very hard, very tough, sitting there, and I respect that. And also, thank you for the opportunity of being able to have this conversation. That's why I signed up to be on the agenda, so we could talk back and forth. I've been on the comment side. That just doesn't appeal to me. I like to be able to talk. So I thank everyone here on that part of it. And if you have any other questions for me, you know, I'm open to them. If I know the answers, I'll tell you. If I don't, I'll say I'm not sure. I don't know on that part. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Sires. We appreciate your, and we too have, you know, our desire is the best interest of faculty, students, you know, people in our county school system, we're parents, you know, that we want to do what's best for everybody.
Okay.
We try, sometimes we don't do the best, but that's our goal too.
You know, it's a tough job, I understand.
We appreciate you coming. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's see where I am here. Mr. Baker doesn't have to straighten out. I need somebody to help. Okay, we're going to the administrative section. Can I have a motion to discuss these items, please?
So moved.
Mr. Wilkerson, second. Can I have Mr. Curry, seconds? Mrs. Lucas.
Okay. Item A is out-of-county student transfer for the 2014-2015 school year as follows. Item B, school volunteers who on occasion may also serve as bus chaperones or provide transportation for students to and from athletic events, academic competitions, or school outings. She has provided proof of private vehicle liability insurance and have completed the volunteer orientation. Item C, approval of the following textbooks for 30-day public review Textbooks are available for the review at the county office. The first being, they're for the early childhood education. It's the new program at Lincoln County High School. The books are Working with Young Children and Child Development Early Stages through age 12. Item D, a memorandum of understanding with the West Virginia Free, a statewide nonprofit organization to institutionalize sex education in compliance with current West Virginia code and state board policies according to the terms of the MOU. Item E, an agreement with the Marshall University College of Health Professions, Department of Nursing that establishes a clinical education program to provide clinical instruction and experience to students enrolled in the Marshall University College of Health Professions, effective July the 1st, 2014, according to the terms of the agreement. Item F, an agreement with Katie Endicott to provide 2 days of staff development for Harts Pre-K 8 staff, August 7th and 8th, according to the terms of the contract, and that was paid for through their school funds. Item G, a contract with Marshall University to provide professional learning services for selected staff members for a total of 15 days, according to the terms of the contract, paid for through the Title VI funds. Item H, an agreement with Catalina Hospital and University Physicians and Surgeons to provide a certified athletic trainer for the Lincoln County High School football program effective August 13th, 2014, according to the terms of the agreement, paid for through the county funds. Item I, the 2014-2015 staff development plan for professional personnel. Item J, out-of-state travel for the following personnel: Rhonda Kersey to Louisville, Kentucky, September the 22nd through the 26th, 2014, to attend the 21st Century Community Learning Center Waldo State Conference, paid for through the 21st Century funds. Item K, adoption of the following revised policies effective immediately, which were placed on public review July the 7th, 2014. We had no comments on those policies. Item L, adoption of the following revised policy effective immediately, which was placed on public review July the 7th, 2014, and there were comments received. Item L, a revised salary schedule number 16 central office effective July the 1st, 2014. Any questions?
Could you first share with us on item L, the vote, just so everybody be aware of that, and then we can start this discussion.
This is the
Okay.
third vote, correct?
Yes.
Third vote.
Third vote.
And last vote.
Let's hope.
We received, yes, moved to 24 pays, 139. We received no, do not move to 24 pays, 264. The total votes that we received were 403.
And that's a change from the first two votes, isn't it? Or the first two votes in favor of the 24 pay period?
Significant change from what we had before.
And as far as numbers of people that voted, the final vote, do we have more people voting in the third vote than we had in either the first or the second?
That's correct.
So we feel like the third vote is a better reflection of what the entirety of the teachers and staff felt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any board members, anybody else have anything else about it, this particular topic?
Well, I'm of the understanding that there is no choice. It's either 20 or 24.
Yes, that's.
No choice.
That's correct. I'll tell you where I stand. If there isn't a choice for 20 or 24, let it stay as it is.
Well, I'm with Mr. Wilkerson.
Anybody else have anything else with you in agreement? I think you're going to find that the board is unanimous in its thinking about this pay deal. Not that it doesn't have its advantages for some people. I mean, we would still like to see some way of addressing this insurance thing, like I'm sure you would, or some way that could be resolved. We know that other counties have options of 20 and 24 pays. We heard that in comments, but what we also found is that Cabell and Kanawha and all these that do that, they still take that insurance out twice like we do. So it doesn't, you know, what they do is just not really addressing what the concern was. The thing that touched me probably more than anybody else, I think of people who have, Mr. Sowers alluded to it, maybe their salary isn't as great, and maybe they're a single parent or whatever. And knowing how difficult things are financially for many people like that, some of us can adapt easier than others, I guess is what I'm saying. That brought, probably touched me more than anything else to think about. Because once again, we want to do what's best for you all, wherever we can. So I think you're going to find that you've heard how the board feels, and I think the vote just reinforced, what we felt anyway. So we'll go from there. What I'd like to do, if we could, is there any discussion or any more from you all on this topic? From anybody here? Trish, do you have anything more?
I think what got me is I know that you guys take out of your pay and plan for this summer. And you never know, a cold winter and your heater, your furnace just blows, you can get to that money and fix your furnace and then try to take more out to get you through the summer. I like you being able to get to your money because you never know what's going to come up.
Yeah, I agree, because I think somebody pointed that out to us earlier, Carol, that they can, if I could set aside a little bit of money, but if an emergency comes, they can get at it, where if it's spread out, you can't. So that's a good point.
Oh, I do want to say something.
Go ahead.
I think when Ms. Gandy put a chart up, that's what drove it home for me when she showed a salary, different salaries, one at $20,000, one at $40,000, I think. And it showed how much per check would have to be taken out, or it would be decreased. That was very powerful for me to see. And I certainly understand and agree. I have to say that that was something that would have to be planned for. And I understand, like Smith said, a lot of you have your credit union, you have money taken out from the credit union, or you take it out and you put it in your savings account or whatever, but you are able to get to that money, whether you are a service person or a professional, and things do occur, such as what she said, or you have something unexpected. But that was quite powerful for me when I saw it right there. And again, as Mr. Priestley stated, it was something that was brought to the board, and looking at insurance. And once you look at actually what happens, to someone's paycheck, it would take, take a lot of planning to be able to withstand that much of a decrease per check. But I think I believe that the votes are very reflective of what the employees want. I respect that.
I just want to add one thing. Before I knew the results of this final vote, I had already decided, based on all the comments I'd gotten from a variety of sources, that even if the majority of people favored this pay plan, that the effect on the minority would be such that I couldn't vote for it, simply because the hardship to a relatively few would have been so great that it wouldn't have outweighed any benefit to the majority, in my opinion. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I'm normally in support of the democratic process, put it up for vote, majority rules. But in this case, I couldn't have voted for it anyway, not because I think it was a bad plan, but the unintended effect of splitting that up would have had such an effect on people at the lower end of the pay scale that I couldn't have supported it.
Well, I've always said if there was no choice, I was against it.
Right.
Now, that's-
Mr. Priestley, I'd like to throw something in a little personal. I think some of you folks think that as board members, we haven't had any hardships along this line. When I started teaching quite some time ago,
Yeah, long time.
get it over with. At any rate, we were only paid for 9 months out of the year. Now think about that. 9 months out of the year, we didn't have sick leave. There was no such thing as sick leave at the time. If you were sick, too bad, Charlie, you didn't get paid. And we didn't have insurance, among other things. So I can appreciate what you're talking about. Believe me, I can appreciate it. Thank you.
Let me add one more thing before we get off this topic. If any of you or any of the people you work with believe that what you have to say to us doesn't matter, the vote tonight should tell you that's not true. We want input. We don't want to make decisions that are based on just what we think is best. We're here to represent everybody. And we need input. Just like you all gave us input on this topic, we need that on everything that's important to all of you. The same comment process you have, the ability to mail us letters, to make phone calls, to send us messages on Facebook, we want that. I know I certainly do, and I believe everybody else does, because I can't make decisions that benefit people unless I know what they want. So, in this case, the comments of the people were one regardless, in my opinion. So please, tell people, let us know what they want.
And I'd like to say also that, Mr. Sowers, I really appreciate you coming, and I wish more teachers and administrators would come and express concerns like you did tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, now, on the other items under the administrative section, are there any other comments or concerns from anyone that you want to discuss any of the other items? Anything?
Do we not need a trainer for middle school athletic team, football?
No, it's no longer a requirement. Hasn't been for 7 years.
Okay, well, if there's not anything else, the chair would like to entertain a motion in the administrative section to approve items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and M. So Mr. Baker makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Wilkerson seconds. So we have a motion to approve all the administrative items except for item L. Is that an all yes vote?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What I'd like to do now is item L. Let's address it separately. This is the adoption of the proposed employee change. Can I have a motion for item L?
I'll move.
Mr. Curry makes a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bacon seconds. Okay, do we have any, we've had comment or any more discussion about the 24 pay option? Okay, if not, we have a motion to second. I call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
No.
All no vote. Okay, all no, thank you. I've never said that before.
Never had an issue with that.
I have to think about that, and whether that's a wise thing to do. Okay, the 24 pay is 5-0, it's been defeated. Thank you all for your input. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've now dealt with all the administrative items. Let's go then to the finance section. Do you have a motion? Carol made the motion, second please. Fred, second to Bird.
Okay, item A, scheduled invoices totaling $656,624.54. Invoices are available for public inspection in the county finance office. Item B, a county pension for the following retired employees under option A plan effective July the 1st, 2014, funded through this excess levy. And that retiree is Stephen Light. His benefit monthly would be $36.74. He has 28.173 years of experience, and he has chose to give up his check and get the dental vision plan. Questions?
Anybody have anything for Gandhi? Okay, if nothing further, then I'll have a motion to approve the finance items. Is that an all yes?
Yes.
Okay, personnel, we have a motion. Curry makes a motion, second. Second by Baker.
For me.
Yeah, you're the I know you're close, I can hear you. Okay, so we have a motion second, so we'll go to Tricia.
Okay. Section A, excuse me, employment of short and/or a long-term substitute professional personnel. Section B, employment of professional personnel. Section C, employment of professional personnel pending the return of the regular employee. Section D, employment of the professional personnel pending the issuance of the first-class permit, also pending the return of the regular employee. Section E, employment of professional personnel pending the issuance of the certification. Section F, transfer of professional personnel. I need to delete, ask you all to delete that one. The Megan Walden.
Megan Walden.
Mhm. Delete that one, please. Yes. Section G, employment of professional personnel pending the FBI CIB clearance and issuance of the first-class permit. Section 8, the transfer of professional personnel pending the issuance of an out-of-field authorization. I'm asking you to delete that one as well.
Laura Atkins.
Yes, Laura Atkins. Section I, the very top of the next page, is the employment of professional personnel pending the issuance of an out-of-field authorization. Section J is the employment of substitute service personnel. Section K is the transfer of service personnel. Section L is the employment of extracurricular personnel. Section M is the employment of extracurricular athletic personnel. Top of the next page is Section N, leave of absence. And Section O, resignation and/or retirement, and it's noted under the effective date, whether it's resignation or retirement. Correction to the extracurricular service posting, the itinerant bus operator's salary, regular hourly rate of pay for the following: Lisa Thompson, Wayne Salmons, and Richie Terry, per the West Virginia Code 18-5-39, and that was the summer employment. Rescind the February 28th, 2014 termination of Brittany Williams, sign language specialist, and transfer to the Lincoln County High School sign language specialist for the 2014-2015 school year per West Virginia Code 18A-4-8B. That's when the reason for the termination no longer existed, and we needed the services of the sign language specialist
That's so
for
recent,
student.
back in February, her position was terminated,
Yes, it was.
but now we need it again?
Yes. Any questions?
Okay, any questions, Ms. Ives? On this last one, Trish, now what would you have to do there, as far as this, we have to post that, or does she automatically get reassigned?
She automatically gets reassigned for that position. We would have had to have posted it had she declined.
The lack of need before there is a need.
Yes.
Okay, anybody have anything else? Okay. All right, if not, then we'll have a vote on the personnel items. All those in favor? Aye. All yes?
Yes.
All yes, vote on personnel. So let's go to the comments, concerns, LCHS assistant principal vacancies.
I have a lot of notes, and I want to be able to,
I'm looking at it, wait.
I want to be able to articulate the importance of student achievement in all of our schools, not just Lincoln County High School, but all of our schools. I do want to say that Mr. McKiff and I met with Mr. Sowards, along with 2 other faculty members, in regard to this topic. And I stated I felt very clearly to Mr. Sowards the importance that we have, and I feel like I would be remiss as a superintendent if I didn't look at the achievement of our students, the curriculum, and the importance and the emphasis that we need to place on our student achievement. Safety, absolutely. We must provide safety for our students. I believe we're providing a safe environment for our students. Mr. McKiff and I and Mr. Snyder have had conversation, much conversation, when this situation came up where we knew Mrs. Davis was leaving. I felt, and talked with Mr. Midkiff, which in turn talked to Mr. Snyder, and then we all got together, that this has presented an opportunity for us to really stand back and look what is needed at Lincoln County High School. As Mr. Sowards indicated from the question that Mr. Priestley posed about, are you happy with where the students are at as far as their achievement? And his answer was no. Mr. Snyder, Mr. McKiff, and I have talked about that as well. From earlier discussions with the board, my comment regarding looking for someone that has a solid record, a good background in curriculum. We have talked with several other people, other superintendents from school systems that have a record of having high achievement in their high schools. And I wanted input from them on what are they doing. You know, how are you covering this area in your county? We have received a couple of job descriptions. We have had input. We've had conversation with Mr. Boggs, and I know you all heard that name mentioned several times, but he is our liaison from the Department of Education with our priority schools. I think I had indicated earlier, you know, he's in our county weekly. He's had much conversation with Mr. Snyder, with Mr. McKiff, and he has had other discussions with people at the State Department, giving some input on what a job description might look like when we're trying to craft a draft one that meets the needs of Lincoln County High School. When we talk about people that are strong in the area of curriculum, I'm talking about, and hopefully I'm echoing, and if not, Mr. Snyder, I'm certain will say, but I want someone that has, we would be looking for someone that has a good understanding of what instructional strategies look like. What is, I want to say, high quality teaching. I don't care how many years you've taught, and you may think you are an excellent teacher. Someone needs to be able to come into your classroom and observe what's going on. If there are great things, wonderful. If there's an area that you need to work on, to be able, it may just be that one thing that you might need to change or improve on, that would make that classroom much more rigorous and engaging for those students. They have to be able to work with the understanding of what data is. Okay, we can all look at data. What does it mean? What does it really mean? They need to be able to break that down, look at the results of what that data is telling us. Not stop there, but how do you use it? And we talked about that, and I think that's one of the things that Mr. Snyder said to me. He wants to be able to have someone that does understand that, and be, be consistent in their evaluations. You all could go into a classroom and you would have 5 different opinions about what you felt was going on. And if we have someone that is able to go in, do the evaluations, and I'm not saying maybe every one of them, but a majority, be able to come back, they're seeing it every classroom through the same eyes, and this teacher is not going to be able to say, well, they just don't like me, or Mr. Snyder would have to pull that person away and put someone else in to evaluate, and that person may go in and say, oh, they're doing excellent, when the first one may have gone in and said, I think there are areas that you need to improve on, and here are those areas. And when I spoke with the 3 faculty members, this is what I said to you. Is that not correct?
Yes,
And
they are. Our conversation with that, and I appreciated that meeting because being able to talk to you and Mr. Midkiff as well, everything on that part. And of course, I know you're concerned, the superintendent, Mr. Midkiff, assistant superintendent in that area. Just while I've read in the paper and under circumstances what was going on, that's why I was here tonight. And we did have a good conversation about the different things on that part of it. She made herself accessible, and I appreciate that. Let the board know that she was available, Mr. Midkiff as well, because I think we are all concerned with the same thing on that part.
And I didn't mean to cut you
Go
off,
ahead.
but as that was stated in the meeting, it was agreed, by them that there were some issues that came up regarding evaluations.
Right.
And which created some concerns for Mr. Snyder. With all of the input that we've had thus far, that Mr. Midkiff, myself, and from other superintendents from the State Department, and then talking with Mr. Snyder, Mr. Midkiff is working on a job description. But within the component of curriculum, and I know you talked about policy 2510, you talked about scheduling, those are components, and I think you alluded to that as well, Mr. Wilkerson, in your comments. But we have to have someone that understands the IPI process, and that stands for Instructional Practices Inventory. And I talked about the data. We need someone that understands a department, whether it's all English and working as 9th grade into 10th grade, what we call a vertical teaming approach. As sophomore, what do they need to know? What the 9th grade teacher needs to know, the 11th grade, the 12th grade. That's one way of looking at instruction, the vertical. But then you have to have, we think it's important that they do grade level. What do the 9th grade students need? this person needs to have some understanding of those kinds of issues and be able to look and get a good understanding of what Lincoln County High School is about and what they really need. And we have, you know, like I said, I've got a lot of notes here, and I want to be able to articulate the fact that, you know, we have the next generation standards. And our teachers, and we have some new ones, but many of them are looking to someone to be able to give them a good understanding. If someone can go in that classroom and say, these are high quality standards. You know, we have these standards that we're held to, whether it's the climate, the culture, the curriculum, whether it's the school leadership. Those are things that they're looking at, the facilities. And I know Mr. Snyder, and I have, you know, we may not always agree, but, you know, he listens, and I appreciate it. But I think this is an opportunity that we cannot pass as far as looking and getting someone that has that type of experience if that person is out there. And as you said, administrator, in order to be able to evaluate, they have to be an administrator.
That's why I asked you to clarify.
Yes, and it would be, and I think I said to the three faculty, this is what I'm looking for, is someone that is an administrator. They have that certification in order to be able, because going in and looking at what a teacher is doing in their classroom, it is very important for them to be able to evaluate and say to them, you know, look, these are areas that you need to improve on, and give them some good strategies, people that understand what a good classroom and teaching and engaging those children, and knowing those content standards, and knowing how to approach. You know, it's important to be able to approach a teacher, especially someone that has as many years as Mr. Sowers, and to be able to have that kind of a rapport. I think we talked about that as well, and not be offensive to someone, but be able to say, you're doing well, but there are areas that I think that you need in order to get those students at the next level. We have to set that rigor. We have to set those high expectations. And this is a time for us to be able to do that. And we're working with job descriptions, and there are other superintendents that I plan on talking with, but I have, you know, talked to a few. They've given me great information in regards to how they are handling it in their county. So with that said, that's kind of where we are, and the kind of person I'm looking for. And I think Mr. McKipp and I have talked, and probably more than we have with Mr. Snyder, because we know he is very busy in the last few days, but I'm hoping that I have been able to clarify, you know, what we're looking for with respect to Lincoln County High School, and helping those students be able to achieve. We are looking at student growth. We have to have that student growth. We will be on the priority list designation. How much longer, Mr. McKipp?
This year and
This
next.
year and next year, so this entire year and the next year. And it's, to me, it's imperative that we take this serious. The urgency is there, and this is an opportunity that I don't believe that we can pass up. And, you know, I hate to say, you know, what we have in place, or what we've had in place is not working. And if you know something's not working and you do not take steps to make the changes, I think we're neglecting our duty as far as administrators. And, you know, I'm just asking for the opportunity to be able to do what we feel that we need to do to get a good, solid person
Well,
in
that was
place.
what I meant the last board meeting when I said I didn't want to hire just another assistant principal. We're in bad shape up there. We might as well face it. We need to do something about it. What we've been doing isn't working. We've proved that for several years now. And whatever it takes, we need to do it. And Mr. Bowles, I think you said the last meeting or something, they thought this was the right direction for us to take.
Absolutely, yes.
You know, I was curious as to whether we could afford a curriculum specialist, so I did a little bit of extra homework. Found that the national annual wage ranges from, believe it or not, $31,800, which is ridiculous, up to $93,250. The mean being, annual mean being $59,780. So that might relieve the administration and the board's mind a little bit by knowing that. And I also took the time, had a little bit of rain, wasn't too busy doing anything else, so also took the time to just to see exactly what a curriculum specialist, well, I had my ideas of a curriculum specialist, but I wanted to see what other school districts were doing, so I got some job descriptions. I'll pass them along to you. You can use them or throw them away, whatever you wish to do, but it gave me some insight, and included many of the things that you were talking about.
Good. I think what Ms. Lucas said is certainly true, and we're all, I believe, we're on the same page. We haven't really gotten to talk a lot to Mr. Snyder, but you know, I have no doubt that he wants improvement in the school achievement-wise. You know, I'm sure he's willing to. He'll be giving suggestions to Mr. McGinn as well as his input. So, but you alluded there to someone that would be consistent in evaluating others. You know, we got to be able to accept constructive criticism. All of us do. You know, it's easy to go in and tell everybody, "You're doing a great job, and we're glad to have you." But you know, we need to be able to accept constructive criticism. We all do. There's not a soul that can't do better in some areas. You know, and I think if we get the right kind of person that can go in and the faculty can accept that, you know, that person's not here to get me or anything. They'll try to improve my teaching. And like you say, no matter, you know, you could be a veteran teacher, but that doesn't mean you can't learn. I mean, we're all the time sending people to conferences here and gone and all kinds of things. And the reason we do that is to try to, you know, broaden their horizons so that they can grow. So, and plus, it provides consistency. You know, I'm telling this teacher pretty much what I'm telling another. So, but so I think we all agree that. Just as far as the job description, now are we all pretty well thinking, you know, it would have to be a curriculum assistant principal or something like that? I mean, I don't know what the title would be. But it would have
Assistant principal with focus on curriculum.
yeah, something in that like that.
Yes.
Okay. But as far as the qualifications now, Jeff, I guess you're looking at those. I'm working on that. Okay. Because I would ask that you look to see if there are any specializations or endorsements, whatever the terminology might be, for people that may have such a curriculum specialty. That may also be an administrator. I don't know whether there's such a person out there that would have this kind. But I would just be curious if there are such specializations that somebody, you know, they've got an endorsement in that area. And then if they are an administrator, then I think, to me, that's the kind of a person we're looking for. Where they come from, Ernest, I don't know where they're going to come from. They may come from around here. The right person is what we want. I would hope that whoever it may be would be something that's going to stay here. I mean, I've seen that too many people come and go.
Yeah, that's my concern. That's
Well,
what
mine
we
too.
need.
You know, I've seen it this year, a couple of years ago we saw it. We saw, you know, I don't know how many we've seen come and go, so that hopefully if we were able to get the right person, we could keep them. Now, so on the qualifications would be one thing. The other thing that we're going to address, or I guess needs to be addressed at some point, are the type of duties this person would have. And I know Mr. Snyder, he delegates many things as he has to. I would hope that this individual would not be in a situation where they're going to be expected to do all various duties, administrative duties throughout the day, because those are times, I know Fred and I were talking about today, they may be evaluating somebody, they may be meeting with somebody, maybe during a planning period and going over data with them and whatever it may be. They may, if they aren't doing that, they may be on there studying data themselves from the school. So if we bog them down with doing other things, not that those things aren't important, but if they do that, then they're not going to be able to really accomplish what their main purpose is out there for us. So I don't know how we're going to address that. Mr. Wilkerson mentioned once that I think that maybe similar to counselors, where they have a percentage of their day is mandated, it has to be related to what they do. I don't know, we'll have to kick that around how we do it. Or do we just put Mr. Snyder on the honor system? I'm sure he would abide by that. But I think the person, if I'm out there looking at this job description, and I'm a curriculum person, and they may be a little bit different animal, that they are going to want to know that. They're going to want to know, and I'm sure during the interview process it would come out, what do you really expect me to do there? Do you expect me to be doing evaluations and working with teachers and improvement plans and all these kind of things? Or do you expect me to be doing lunch duty and all this on the side? Or, just really, I would want to know that. And, but, that's something we'll have to, maybe in your job descriptions there, or maybe some of these other schools, they'll come out. But, if we bog them down with all these other duties, then they're not going to be able to do what we really feel I feel is really important. And I think hearing what you all said, the same thing. So that'll be something we're going to have to address at some point. And that's why we got into what we talked about earlier, to make sure that we could still, without them doing these things, because the faculty are all kicking in and doing their part, as well as the administrators there and the resources. Everybody's doing these various things to make sure that the school is safe and maintain the safety environment. But, we can't bog somebody new down to having to, I'm not saying they can't do anything, but they shouldn't, they need to know that their focus needs to be on something else. That's all I got to say about that. Anything else? Here's anything else? Mr. Mickey, if you have any questions? Okay. Mr. Snyder, do you have any thoughts or any more guidance?
As long as we're raising chicken, I'm good.
You for that? I think we're all for that day. Okay. All right, then we'll move to legal updates, Trish.
With these items, we need to go into executive session talking about personnel.
What can we say for that, John?
You're fine. I just want to thank the board. The girls will be playing their first full season proper soccer game next Saturday on the field.
What time is that game?
11, I believe.
Now, are you referring to the high school girls?
Yes. Is that not the case?
Oh, I'm not sure about the time, but as a parent, I'm very unhappy that our girls are playing on that field.
Okay.
There's no PA system, there's no scoreboard,
Well, Mr.
there's no
Plumlee-
bleachers, there's no proper concession. I attended the scrimmage last week, and it was an embarrassment to me. You can't see through the fence. You have to walk up and down the field to watch the game play. I understand the motivation behind having games there at a field the board has dedicated resources to getting into a regulation size, but it is, as a parent, with opposing team parents there, it was embarrassing to me. So,
Okay.
don't mean to not be grateful, but
But we can't, I would say as a journalist or as a sports writer, we can't, I don't think we can get to the ultimate goal without some progress being made.
oh, I agree that progress has been made. No question, getting the field to regulation size was progress. But there are a lot of seniors on that team who are not real happy to be playing on that field because it's, I mean.
But they will be playing the later season games over here.
1 to 2 games.
That'll be more than that, surely.
No, by the time changes in early October, they have 2 home games left.
Okay.
One of which probably occurs before the time change. So it's a sore topic, sort of. we understand Coach Plumlee's position to play the games there, but there's always disagreement, we can agree to disagree.
I think that's, should be noted that it's the coach's decision.
That's exactly right.
Okay. And the only thing I would add, because I'm an advocate of developing the high school campus, is that the softball field, the baseball field, none of these other things happened overnight. They were developed gradually, and I've urged other booster or soccer people that they need to be involved booster-wise and to begin to enhance that. You know, we can only do so much. So, you know, I agree with you, Rowdy, there's a lot that needs to be done there, but sometimes when we're out there, that kind of puts a focus on it, then, you know, we as parents are sitting around, what can we do to make this better?
Right.
And we work.
Like I said, I understand the motivation, understand all the reasons behind playing there, but as a parent of a soccer player, I don't think I'm the only one embarrassed sitting there watching the games. I know I'm not the only one that's embarrassed. I understand sometimes you gotta break some eggs, make an omelet. I get that completely. I just think that you gotta have a fire, you gotta have a means before you start breaking those eggs, and it's, you know.
Now, the bleachers were there 2 years ago. The bleachers appeared there 2 years ago for a week or two. Can that not happen again this year?
I had heard somewhere in the past week or two that was Mr. Plumlee's plan was to, is that Dana, is that correct? Is to bring the bleachers over once again for the games and to do some, as far, then, I don't know, as far as the concession stands, are you using the baseball field concession stand?
No, we set it easy up, and they had coolers and tables. Concession works okay.
Well, I've just, someone had said that was a possibility of using it, so there's things, but anyway, it needs to be developed, where I agree with you 100%.
Bleachers would make it tolerable, so that you could actually see the game played without walking over top of each other.
I know a couple of years ago that had been done, and I thought, and Dana says it's gonna be done again, so that may,
That would be a big improvement.
all right. Okay, and now that we're through soccer, we'll go to legal updates. If I could get a motion to go into executive session, please.
So moved.
7:35,